Hello folks, today we're going to be taking a look at my electric motor collection, which over the years I have taken apart a lot of toys and devices, we'll say, like fans and stuff, and gotten the electric motors out of them. And I'm definitely not an expert on electrics. In fact, that's my weakest point, is electricity. Like, I'm much more knowledgeable in mechanics than I am in electricity, so I'm probably going to make a number of mistakes in this video talking about these, so feel free to correct me in the comments section, but I'll do the best to explain some of these motors, where they came from, how they work, and that sort of thing, and hopefully we can get some demonstrations. Okay, so we'll start from the bottom here. So these are the smallest kind of motors, and you can find these things everywhere. So these are the same kind of motor. I don't know what they're called, the exact technical name for them, but they're basically found in a ton of toys and just really any toys. These are the motors that are actually in Lego motors. These inside there, they just have a gearbox on them, so they're geared down. But these things are pretty cool. They're small, but they do produce a little bit of power. You can power them pretty easily with like a battery. I mean, this one I think's toast. I'm pretty sure this one does not work. It's got some problem. But this one does, I believe. It should. I need to properly splice the wires though, because this wire does not even, it has too much cover on it. There we go. It's hard to hold on, but you can see it does run. This is just a C battery that's probably mostly dead, but it's got a kind of cool belt system that gears it down. I'm probably going to take that off, but yeah, not a whole lot you can do with these because they're so low power. But these are DC motors. In fact, all these up to this point are DC motors, so I'll try to go quickly here. And then I have 3 of these kind of motors, which is kind of like the next size up. They're a little bigger, and you can use them to spin stuff like a bigger propeller. Now this one I will definitely demonstrate, and this is a fully functional motor here. So here I have a battery pack with 6 batteries in it. Probably not all of them are very charged, but alright, there we go, that's better. Oh yeah, that produces a lot of lift. You can't tell, but it wants to pull itself that way. Quite a bit of gyroscopic effect too. It does not like to turn. But I'm almost tempted to let this thing go. No, I'm not going to. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. This motor works well. This battery pack's a little finicky, but so yeah, there's 3 of these. They all are the same exact thing. And then we have this one. I do not remember what this came off of. These, I don't remember either, although I know 2 of these came from a little tinkering kit. This one, no idea where this came from. Probably, if I had to guess, some kind of RC car or something. So it's similar to these size, maybe a little bit bigger. And then we have these, which I know where these came from because I just got them yesterday. These are from a printer, both of them. They drive the little printing head that goes, inkjet printer head that goes back and forth. They have these little plastic gears on them and stuff. And this actually has the part number or serial number on it, so you can look these things up and buy them for pretty cheap if you need them. I don't know why you would need them, but you can. Sorry, this camera just will not focus, but yeah, pretty cool. And now we get into our AC motors. So up to this point, these have all been DC motors. This is an AC motor, which also has the part number or model number and on it. And this was off a little fan. So this works from AC power, which means you plug it into the wall and it'll work. It probably has something to reduce the voltage or something. But then this is the same thing, except this has all the plugs still connected to it, including the little 2-speed speed selector. So I'm going to plug this thing in so you can see it run. AC motors are very quiet. Well, not all, but this one, these small fan motors are very quiet. Like you wouldn't even know if they're running. This does have house power, 110, 15 volts here in the US going into this switch. So if you touch those parts, you will get zapped. So maybe don't do that. But you can see here, it's fine to handle this outside bit. I don't know if you can hear that, but that is on. Does not have very much torque. Now you could stop it just very easily. And yes, I did kind of smash my thumb the other day, but yeah, not very much torque. Very low power motor. I don't remember what these are called, but it's a specific kind where there's this kind which actually has the coils of wire, and then there's this kind which just has like these two pieces of metal going in. So these are actually weaker. Interesting though. That came off of a little fan. Alright, and then we have these, which are computer fans. These take DC power, and they're probably equivalent to one of those little motors over there. They're a slightly different shape though, but these work. And to power them, I'm going to be using this switching power supply here, which, oh boy, I don't even want to start. I have no idea how these things work. I tried to do some research, but I'm just very incompetent in understanding these things. So I really need to do more research on this, but basically I know it does take AC power and convert it into DC power, and it has some of the voltage conversion information here. So it's a VT Industries switching power supply model VT400P. And I did a little research on these, but once again, not enough. So I will plug this thing in. Okay, so these two fans are completely identical, and you can plug them into any of these outlets, I guess, whatever you'd call them. It's not on right now. Okay, so then here's our switch, and you can see it is spinning and blowing this way. Not very fast though, very slow. And you can get this thing to go on full throttle, but it's kind of weird. In order to do that, you have to switch the voltage selector here over to from 115 volts over to 230 volts, which this house does not have 230 volt power, yet for some reason when you turn that setting on, it makes this thing spin at much faster. You can see. It's got a nice draft. Pretty powerful computer fan. This was off a CD. I believe this was off a CD duplicator, which in other words a really old machine that's meant to convert or copy CDs, CD copier, whatever it was. I don't even know what it was called, but so that's pretty cool. Oh, and by the way, you can use this device to power these other little motors. Anything DC will plug you right into this, and well, not plug into it, but you know, you can connect it and use it to power that. So that's pretty cool. Now moving up the line, now we get into the slightly bigger motors. So this is another AC motor like these two ones, except this one here is bigger. It's off a fan, a larger fan, one of those ones that like you can set up and it oscillates. And this has a problem where the wires always kind of come out. This wire always comes out of this thing, and I think this device that holds the wire in is damaged, but it does work, and I don't know why, but I put a Technic Lego wheel on here, so you could like put sandpaper around this and have a little sanding tool or something like that, and it works. It has 3 speeds. Not very powerful, but definitely much more than these two AC motors. Now we get into the powerhouses. So this thing here, this is a universal motor, which means it can run off DC or AC power. In this case, it's running off AC power from the wall. And it is a vacuum motor, so it spins ridiculously high RPMs, and it has an impeller in here. Should I turn this one on? Maybe. Yes, absolutely. It's loud. It's crazy loud. So that's not a problem for you guys, but my family's not going to appreciate that very much. So holding this thing is slightly kind of tricky. So it sucks in here and blows out these back holes. It's kind of like that one vacuum I made a video on a while back. I'll have a link to that video. It's very similar. I think this one's a little bigger though, but very similar. Ideally you'd clamp this in a vise or something so it wouldn't go flying everywhere. But for this thing, I'm going to use my knees to hold it. Not a very good idea, but it shouldn't come out. So here's the switch. Yeah, very fast and pretty powerful. Probably, I don't know how much horsepower it has, but I would guess maybe a quarter or half a horsepower, just because it spins so fast. It does not have very much torque, and those motors burn out pretty easily. But then I have another one of these, which is considerably larger. It's the same thing, a universal motor. This I got off a shop vac that I took apart a few years back. And now we get to the biggest one. This is a 3-phase AC motor, or induction motor. It actually has a little chart that shows you all the information about it. So it is a 3-phase induction motor, which means I shouldn't try to explain it, but the power coming in is kind of, instead of AC usually has single phase power, this requires 3-phase in order to run correctly. And houses do not provide 3-phase power. That's something that you would need like a 3-phase generator for, or some industrial site might have one. But this came off of an industrial sewing machine, I think. I'm pretty sure. It is a 0.4 kilowatt, which equates to like 0.5 or 6 horsepower, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like 0.5 or 6 horsepower, so like a half a horse. And I do not have a method of running this. I'm not able to do that, since, as I said earlier, I do not have 3-phase power. Now this is a pretty good condition, so I could probably sell it. And these, I've heard, go for something, quite a bit actually, and I might be able to get some good money off this. So I might look into that. And it even have this kill switch for it, which has Chinese and, or I don't know, maybe that's not Chinese, some Asian lettering and English. So this is the kill part, and then it also has a start button, which is falling down in there. Here we go. So yeah, it's supposed to look like this, and you can hit that to start it, to hit the start to activate the start capacitor, because that's what these, I'm guessing this may have a start capacitor. Would probably use one. So that is my motor collection, all the way down from little things you can find in toys, all the way up to industrial motors that are used in sewing factories apparently, and other things, from vacuum cleaners and computer fans. So yeah, you can get motors from anywhere. If you're interested in this sort of thing, all you need to do is take apart a toy, a fan. These are a little harder to come by, but vacuums, if you have an old vacuum, there's usually a universal motor in those. Please feel free to leave a comment. If any of you know why this would happen, where when I switch it over to a different voltage, 115 and 230, it would cause the fans to be able to spin faster, even though my wall does not provide 230 volts. So I'd be interested to figure that out. Yeah, thank you for watching.